Oh yeah, we're gonna tear into all these right now. Alright guys, we have about 50 prototypes here to go through, most of which have never before been seen, some of which are really going to blow your mind. One of these, we never thought that character materialized in physical form. Some of you guys might have a hunch as to who that is. You might be looking at him right now. We'll get to him later. So many good things. I cannot believe I've been able to contain my excitement and not just rip into all these off camera. But yeah, I have not done a just dedicated prototype haul in a while. It's been, I think, a little bit over a year, so I cannot wait to get into this and share these with you. It's obviously one of my favorite items to collect as a cars collector. I love getting, the typical mainline releases, including Doug Crankle as Zombie, but I just love getting the prototypes. It brings the hobby to an entirely new level. There's a whole new challenge to it, a lot of lore, a lot of intricacies. I'd love for you guys to get on board with it as well if you're into that kind of stuff. So without any further ado, we're going to dive right on in. Some of these are still kind of packaged up that we'll unbox, so that'll be fun in and of itself. Some of them are just here loose from the Giga Haul that I will be doing soon, Giga Haul Part 26. You'll see some of these in that as well. So they're all kind of come from a bunch of different sources, bunch of different places to unite here. And as I'm going through them, I will talk about how you can get prototypes, because obviously that is always a big question. A lot of these are prototypes of canceled cars as well. So that's another big topic that we're going to be going through today. Now, first off, revelation number one is that all Vietnam-made prototypes, at least so far, seem to be in black, painted completely in black, and their plastic parts is kind of what provides the character, the flair. So this is just a random next gen. You guys will probably be able to narrow it down based on the wing, although I think all the models on the next gens, like this model, the Tim Treadless model, are the same, but their wing's different in the back there. This one has a gray wing, but everything else is unpainted. There is the product code, and there you can see made in Vietnam. So whenever we come up on a black colored prototype, you guys will know it's Vietnam, and I'll prove it to you by the base. And here's another one, just a regular Cruz Ramirez, and I love the yellow side view mirrors to kind of indicate her main color. And there you have it, made in Vietnam. And this is super cool because they don't really do many cars in Vietnam anymore. They do a few things here and there, but mostly everything has transitioned over to Thailand. And there was that point after they stopped making stuff in China that they were doing both Vietnam and Thailand, like all the expanded universe stuff, deluxes, haulers, stuff like that was being made in Vietnam. But they have since switched it all over for the most part to Thailand to kind of consolidate on all that. And that makes a ton of sense to me. All right, let's get into this one that's in the little baggie here. This one is pretty bare bones, but a lot of these prototypes, I don't really care about the condition for them because they're meant to be samples. I don't expect a mint condition prototype ever. In fact, if I see one, it kind of gives it away almost that it could be fake. It's an indicator I don't want to see, just because the more beat up they are, the more likely they are to be real. And don't take that as you could beat up a car, take the decals off, and bam, you have a prototype you could scam someone with. There's a lot more that goes into it. But here's a finish line Lightning McQueen, an old one, because you can see he's got the mouth plate here. Made in China. Yeah, this is an old one. You could tell by the base. Missing all of its wheels and whatnot. But he's got a white front bumper mouth plate up here, and then a bunch of writing on the hood. And a lot of it does look to be in Chinese, which is pretty cool. So if you knew how to read that, please let me know. I know who I can go to figure that out, but I don't know what that says off the top of my head. It looks pretty sloppy too. And then it does say P2244. So that might be the product code. Yep, you could see a P2244 right there by my left thumb. Everything looks to be pretty much the same paint though. The red and the tongue, even though it's very dirty, looks to be how it ends up in the final release. All right, let's go on to this chick Hicks right here. One of my new favorites, although unlike some of these other ones, you'll see I have seen a few prototype chick Hicks with headsets here. And what I mean by that is, like, I've seen several blue chick Hickses with the red headset, the red base, and the colored tires. And that's not to mean, again, that it's fake or it was mass produced by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like some prototypes, there are a lot of that prototype. And that's, evidenced by a lot of the ones you see on eBay for $20 to $40. There's always been kind of a group of them that's lingered on eBay. I think a Tex Dinoco and navy blue's been up there for a while. Of course, all the navy Thailand ones from a few years ago, like Jenny Toland's, Van den Kerr, those are all still up there. I think they call them test shots though. But I've only seen a few of these. That being said, some of the ones that we will show you guys today, I've only seen one of, and it's the one I'm holding, right? So yeah, this is pretty cool. No base writing, completely in red headset. It's weird that the tires and the wheels are fully painted to completion, but everything else is not. And yeah, he's pretty beat up as well, but I am totally cool with that. All right, I'm going to try and save some of the better ones for last. I mean, all of them are absolute bangers. There's no bad prototype in this batch at all. I mean, obviously, not all prototypes are born equal. Some are going to be better than others, but they are all amazing in my eyes. And this is one that I've really wanted for a while. I think I saw this some time ago. Can't remember where, but I've always wanted a prototype Francesco like this, and this one really knocks out of the park for me in terms of what I'm looking for as a prototype. I want color. And yeah, I mean, even though he's got a white body, I mean, he's got pink tires, which is sick, a gray base, this orange side running thing, whatever you want to call that. So it just kind of shows you how much plastic is on Francesco. Anything that's not this white portion, excluding the spoiler, because that's plastic too, is plastic, right? So you have the black kind of helmet there, but still a super sweet prototype. V2800 is the code that they wrote on him, but there's no product code on his base. But yeah, that is one of my favorites. Super happy to have grabbed him. What we got here, this looks like a Brian Fee clamp. God, he is tight in this bag. I love these colors, and you'll see these colors a lot on prototypes, the red and the white, like a bright neon red almost into an orange. And wow, this guy's wild. His microphone's bent all the way underneath him. But yeah, definitely a Brian Fee clamp here. You could tell by, how big of a pickup truck he is. He's the only character that they use this model for, even though they should have used it for more of the crew chiefs. It's a very accurate model to a lot of the pickup trucks in the movie Cars, the first one. Yeah, he's got a white metal body here, the orange tires, slightly different color for the plastic bed, and then a dark orange for the side view mirrors and the headset. So really cool stuff all around. I've never seen another one like this, but I think there is. I think the seller I got this from had two, perhaps. But yeah, where do I get prototypes from? Now, like I kind of mentioned earlier in the video just now, a lot of these can be found on eBay from time to time. They go really quick, the good ones do, and some of the ones that are in more mass quantities, they stay up for a while, like the Tex Dinoco I was telling you about. There was a River Scott in white that was up for a while. Those Van den Kerrs, Jenny Toland's, Bill Rebs, whatever. But from time to time, a solo prototype will pop up from, I know the sellers, and you gotta kind of get to know them. Like if you go look up prototype now, there's a few that are chilling up there. Save those sellers. So when they post something new, you get notified or it pops up in your feed. That's a great way of doing it. And also just kind of making connections with the sellers, messaging them, asking if they have any other prototypes, because they want to sell, but they primarily want to sell off of the eBay platform. Now, this one here, we're going to take a break from that discussion for a second to talk about this XRS Lightning McQueen. There are so many XRS prototypes out there. I think we're going to go over like 10 in this video. It is one of the most heavily leaked prototyped lines in the history of cars. I mean, I've never seen so many XRS prototypes I've never seen more of one group than XRS. Most of which, well, there's a good amount that are the engineering prototypes, meaning they're completed, they just have a code stamped in them, which is exactly what this George Newman is here. You can see that he's got a code 258 there in his top left corner. There are a lot of these. There's, in fact, at the time of recording this, there are a couple of these on eBay right now for a pretty reasonable price, but there are a lot of them. There probably are close to that number. Not all of those leaked out, though. And then there's a lot of prototypes that are incomplete, like this one right here, which are a lot cooler in my mind, but still, There are quite a few of these out there. This is one of my new favorites though, because he's completely different colors in yellow with the red boards there, brown base. I say completely different colors because I have a Cal Weathers XRS Mud Racer prototype coming that is just his main light blue color, but he doesn't have any decals. I also like that his wheels are not painted. But getting back to that discussion that we were just having, they don't want to sell on eBay because there's so many fees. eBay takes a big cut. And so if you start messaging them, it opens the door for them to, maybe contact you via email. That's what a few of them did with me, and then they start selling you stuff directly from there, which is definitely what they want to do, because then they could just send you a PayPal invoice or whatever you guys figure out, whatever you guys decide on, to avoid eBay fees, and then you avoid the taxes that eBay occurs as well. Now, interestingly enough here, the product code is DXV70, but the code they wrote on the roof is DKG22. This is a cool dock though. I have seen a couple of this one, white with the red base, unpainted wheels. This is Tailgate here, or maybe it's Pile Up, or maybe it's Airborne, maybe it's Liability. I don't even know, or maybe I'm just messing with you guys. But really cool prototype here that is also coded. It's rare. I mean, it happens quite a bit, but it's also rare to find an uncompleted prototype, an incomplete proto, with a stamped code number on it. So it's really cool. This one's 010, and a white body with these beige tires that don't really roll that well, and then a completely naked red base, no markings whatsoever. I have not seen any others like this at all. So really, at the end of the day, just make connections, know what are the best times to buy on eBay and when to search and what to search and keywords and all that good stuff, and also getting to know some fellow collectors that collect prototypes because maybe they want to sell or trade. But really the best starting point is just to hound eBay, because time is always on your side. Time is your best weapon, especially if you're a younger person like myself. I always figured, hey, I have time on my side. There are bound to be more prototypes in the future, and there always are, and they're bound for maybe this one specific one that I really want to pop up again. There are always usually multiples of these. Sometimes they never unearth themselves, but sometimes they do, So just be patient, because time is always on your side. Collectors, a lot of collectors will end up selling their collection. A collector right now that is invested in the hobby, 10 years from now, they might want to sell. And hey, that might be you. You might not be into this 10 years from now, you know what I mean? But if you are, that's an advantage you have. Now, this Boost with Flames here is from his canceled release in 2019, believe it or not, because this is a Thailand prototype. You could tell by this lightly yellow beige base here and the navy blue body. Any prototype like that is a Thailand prototype. It would be extremely rare for those same colors to end up on a Chinese prototype. And also, he's got like Matchbox tires here, which is another indication that this was made in Thailand here. You can see the treads on it. These are either Matchbox or Hot Wheels tires, and it happens kind of frequently on them that they get mismatched tires. You got the transparent flames in the back, which is so cool. The red spoiler. Super awesome prototype, one of my new favorites as well. I do even have a Boost with Flames prototype from his 2013 release, but this is from the canceled release. It's not from his upcoming release in 2024 because, yeah, it's just older, right? It's an older prototype, and we do know Boost was canceled in that year with Flames. All right, here's another interesting Thailand prototype for Suki. You could see it is Suki by the expression there. It's not Harumi, not Trisaki, not Rodet marker. But yeah, it's a nice one. You got the yellow spoiler up there, the red side view mirrors, the yellow wing, I probably should say. And again, you have that lighter colored base with the navy blue to indicate to you that this is a Thailand prototype. And you could also see this little sticker that's chilling on the back here. That is another sign that your prototype is from Thailand. And now you guys might be wondering, well, why don't you just look at the base to see where it was made? Yeah, there are no base markings on a lot of prototypes, so you have to look to these other indicators to know where your prototype comes from. You also might be wondering, well, why does that even matter? Well, it matters because if you know that that Boost with Flames is from Thailand, it elevates the prototype to a whole new level. It's like, that's a lot more desirable prototype because, well, if it's from Thailand, it means it's the canceled version, not the Chinese version that was released several times in the mid-2010s. So, good things to keep in mind. Let's move on to another group of protos. Okay, let's get back into it with a new canceled car addition to my collection, being the Precision Series Lizie single. Now, they did, of course, release the Building, the Curio Shop set that came with a version of Precision Series Lizie, but there are supposed to be some differences between the two, so we're going to go through them here and figure out exactly what those are. Now, the one that came in the Building had working lights if you press down on their hat. Mine are no longer functional. I probably need to just replace the battery down there, but you can see that the hat here, the helmets, or the roof, I guess is the proper term, is the button. Oh my God, I got so many things running through my head. Whereas that does not seem to be the case on this version here. You could see the helmet. Oh my God, why do I keep calling it a helmet? It's so weird. The roof is like a little loose, but it doesn't press down like this one is here. You can see it makes a clicking sound. So that's one difference there. The headlights obviously would have been where the light comes out. And it looks like they are not meant to be. God, it's hard to tell. This one is so dirty and dusty on the left side. I am really not clear on what the differences would have been. Clearly, they have the same expression. They both have rubber tires, which is awesome. All the Precision Series cars did have that. But yeah, man, the one in the set is such a nice release. So underrated with the matte black finish. Now, the one that we have here does have a product, or not product code, but a engineering stamp of 860. Does that beg the question? 860 of these were made. I don't think 860 were. I don't honestly think that the numbers on a lot of these engineering prototypes necessarily reflects how many prototypes were made, but it's possible, I guess. Certainly not that many were leaked, as we were talking about with the George Newman earlier. I'm not really spotting any major differences between these two other than the roof. So it's kind of interesting. Maybe it is just a prototype for the Precision Series Lizie in the Building, but we do know that the single would have had the same expression because they do have stock images of it because it was about to be released. It was so close to getting released, and Lizie really caught the short end of the stick in that time period because her fan favorites version and her road trip version got canceled as well. So 3 Lizie cancellations within a span of 3 years pretty much. That is just bad luck. Feel bad for her. All right, here we have a recent acquisition. I don't really love this one. Honestly, I think it might be a fake, but I'll show you guys anyways. It's a Mickey Mouse Lightning McQueen with the 037 engraving, but yeah, you can feel that it's engraved, but it's a slightly different font than what we're used to. I mean, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to tell, but I've seen so many of these that I could just kind of tell that the font does not look quite right. I wish I had some more exact numbers to compare to, but yeah, I mean, we're going to get to a couple of these. You can see the 018. Wish I had a 3 and the 7, but yeah, it just doesn't look quite right. I'm not going to really value this one too heavily in my collection. It's also just a weird car to have an engineering prototype be made. It still has the date stamp, which is a bad sign as well. Yeah, I don't think they really did much in terms of engineering prototypes for these, and if they did, they didn't leak out. Plus, you could see there's like a decal almost that they put right over, like a strip. You can kind of see when the light hits it in a certain way, there's like a line right along there. And yeah, that just is a little suspicious. Same with this Carla Veloso here, because this is an older Carla Veloso for sure. You could see there is no date stamp, nothing really on the base, and there is an engraving 167. This one might be more legit because of all the writing on it. I know someone could easily do that, but 5/28/2011, that is the perfect time for this Carla Veloso to be coming out. You have the arrows there, a bunch of other writing that I cannot understand. Could be just some gibberish. Someone could be trying to fake this, but I think if anything, someone took a prototype or some car that had the writing on it and then put the engraving on it. I feel like that's honestly more likely to have happened than someone like writing it and engraving it. I think someone could have engraved that McQueen. It's kind of hard to say, but You know, these guys, these Chinese customizers, the factory customizers, the whole group of people over there, they're smart people, and they realize, you know, oh wow, all those Americans are literally buying the exact same car just with a little code on it. I'm sure we could whip up a little production and stamp our own, right? So who knows? But here is a Sterling, I believe. It could be a Sterling, could be a K-Pillar Direct. This is a Chinese prototype, as you can see with the 018 here, as we're just talking about the engineering codes. Pretty nice. That one's definitely legit. I love the wheels on this one. You got those like orange tires that we were kind of looking at on Brian Fee Clamp. Lots of chips, but I am totally cool with that. I really do like this one a lot. And along the lines of that, you have this Natalie Certain as well. Very similar in terms of their color, their tires, not the same base color. Both have roof stamps though. This one is 044. Both are very beat up. But yeah, I really do like both of these. They're super unique, as I haven't seen any other like them. Watch me say that, and then there'll be like 500 of these populating on eBay. It's usually how it works for me. But yeah, I really do like those. Super unique. Here we have one of my favorites that's super underrated in terms of a canceled car. But this is the Easter Luigi that they would have done like 20... Oh man, I can't remember the exact date. I think it was around 2018, 2017 that they would have done the Easter Luigi. He would have had like a basket as well. I think, yeah, they were going to do an Easter Fillmore. They showed a stock image of that, but they canned that. But yeah, this Luigi would have had a different expression, which is super cool. And oopsies, you could see his stamp 352. And yeah, this is a perfect example, actually. You could see the 3 right there. Just take note of that. And you could see how different the font is. It's a completely different font, guys. I know you guys might be thinking, wow, you're really splitting hairs, Mr. Dockett. But these are the details that separate real from fake. And yeah, it's obvious to me that this is definitely a fake of some sort. I don't know. It's still an interesting conversation piece to have. I'm not regretful that I bought it. But yeah, just look at the codes on there. You could easily tell that the Luigi here is real. The McQueen, probably not. But they came from the same seller, and so that also makes it tough. Makes it tough indeed. All right, here's an exciting one for a lot of people. This is the Transberry Juice Crew Chief, believe it or not. This is what it would have looked like. Now, in 2019, Mattel canceled 3 Piston Cup Crew Chiefs, being Fiber Fuel, Comet, and Transberry Juice. Now, unlike the first 2 I named, the Transberry Juice Chief did not get a picture. Whereas, yeah, the other 2 did on their Walmart listings, right, on the website. For whatever reason, this one was just further down the pipeline and did not get an image. Now, even though it was further down the pipeline, this is the first time a prototype of any 3 of those have surfaced. Now, how do I know this is a Transberry Juice Crew Chief prototype? Well, first off, I'll just give you guys a little bit more of the situational, the circumstantial evidence. It can't be the leakless Crew Chief, has a different expression. It cannot be the RPM Crew Chief, different expression. Can't be the No-Cell Crew Chief, different expression. Really can't be Ernest Beer Rakes, the Spearmint Crew Chief, or Senior Tracks. The Shiny Wax Crew Chief, all those I just listed have the same model, but I believe most of them have different models. I think one of them might be pretty gosh darn close to this, but we know from the Walmart listing that the Transberry Juice Crew Chief's product number would have been FLL89, and that's exactly what you see here on the base and on this sticker right here as well. So that is pretty good evidence for me, and it just makes sense because this is a Thailand prototype, you know, by the light beige base. It's completely bare metal though. It's completely Zamac with the red headset. And yeah, it's not like we know that Roman Dunes or any of those other ones would have been released that year. So it just makes sense for it to be Transberry Juice Crew Chief anyways. And yeah, really cool because no one has ever talked about this. And this is a pretty big revelation for the cars community. And yeah, I'll probably make a separate video on that at some point because like I said, it's kind of a big deal. Here we have Dan Sclarkenberg, pretty basic prototype here. This is for the 2016 release of him. Not the 2010 version because the 2010 version would have had a mouth plate right here, whereas the 2016 version was a unibody full metal body without any parts, no eye plate, no mouth plate. I love these wheels though. And yeah, a nice little red base. Another one that I haven't seen any other protos of. All right, we got one that's still wrapped up back here. And yeah, it's none other than another XRS prototype, of course. But this one's pretty cool, though, because he also has a code right there, 071. There's a perfect example again. You got a 7 right there. You could see the legitimate stamps. The font has like a little flare on the tips of the numbers. But on that one, it's a pretty basic font. There are no flares on the end. It's a lot more of a modern font. Honestly, the codes that we're used to seeing looks a little bit more retro. It looks a little bit more typewriter style. But yeah, this is, I guess, I don't know what this could be. A Barry DePedal. Yeah, it's probably a Barry DePedal prototype. Did I say Danny Swervez? They didn't even do a Danny Swervez mud racer. What am I talking about? Yeah, this would be a Barry DePedal XRS mud racing prototype. I love the blue tires. You got the different blue in the little bracket on the side there. A beige base with nothing going on. Oh, you have black tires on the other side. Yeah, pretty good stuff. Haven't seen too many like this, even though I have seen, like I said, a lot of XRS prototypes in my day, but not too many like that. Here we have Blackout. This is one of the smoke jumpers from Plains Fire and Rescue. I showed one of these off in a previous Giga Haul. I think it was probably Giga Haul 25, but now this one has just a different number. I got another one. Again, even though it seems like an odd character to have a date stamp, an odd character for there, not a date stamp, why do I keep saying that? An odd character for there to be an engineering prototype of, and by the way, if you guys don't know, engineering prototypes are the completed ones with the codes on them, the stamps. The font is legit. Now, like I said though, it is the only Plains Fire and Rescue character to ever have an engineering prototype that we know of. And the second Plains character in totality with it, first being Vanderbird. He did have an engineering prototype with the code on his tail wing. So yeah, pretty interesting. Now I have 2 of these. And yeah, this one was just on eBay recently. I picked it up and it was very reasonably priced. So again, just trying to tell you guys how to get these. All right, we got another Vietnam prototype because he is painted in black. Very clean looking. Honestly, looks like it could be like their own series, like a Blackout Transcontinental Race of Champions series, something like that. So again, you guys probably will be able to tell or narrow it down what next gen this could be based on the wing. It's kind of one of those weirder ones that's very square but has the humps in the middle. It's like the camel wing. But yeah, completely in black, FGD 68. But yeah, these are kind of cool because they are completely blacked out, but they do have some accent of color in whatever plastic piece they may have, whether it be the side view mirrors or the spoiler. So really cool stuff. I do have a few more of these on the way that I will show you guys at some point here. All right, next up is going to be this delivery truck right here. Now this is probably the TS2 delivery truck, the canceled blue and yellow delivery van that they were going to do in the Radiator Springs Classic line, but of course Toys R Us went out, and with it the Radiator Springs Classic line. They were going to do Miles Meat Truck Malone as well in that series, but I think he has a different expression, and we know that they were not planning to do Dustin Mello, so by process of elimination, this is a prototype for a canceled car, which is always super cool. Means he could maybe appear in a prototype Prestige episode in the future. I just love the pink trailer here. Stands out so much. And then you got the Zamac in the front, the black bumper. Really cool stuff all around. Love this guy. I love going for the most colorful prototypes possible. And whenever I see something with an exotic color as well, the pink really calls my name. Of course, Francesco back there had a similar thing going on with him. All right, we have a lot more that are packaged up down here that I'm just going to pull on up to the table here, and we're going to get busy with it. This one may end up being the most boring of the bunch. We'll see if he can prove us wrong. I'm not really vibing with this one right off the bat. I'm not even sure what version of Ramone this is for. I guess it could be for multiple versions in theory. The road trip version of Ramone has a very similar color to this and would have had the hitch. I guess that has to be what it was for. The road trip, or not the road trip, the fan favorite version of Ramone also has a similar color, but I don't believe he had the hitch in the back. So yeah, this must be a road trip version of him. So yeah, kind of an old one. But yeah, you can see it's got a golden colored base and then the red hitch here in the back. So an interesting prototype, but nothing really to write home about. Definitely not going to be in my top 10 list at the end of the day. Here's another one that probably won't be in my top 10 list, but is super unique and really interesting to think about. Yeah, you guys might be thinking, what on earth is that? Xanadu Bumpers has seen better days. And yes, she has. But this is a resin prototype, meaning that it is basically plastic. That's basically what resin means. And that's why you could see that she's put together with screws and not the rivets. Everything is plastic on her, literally, except for the screws. And so there are a couple details that are going to be a little bit different from the diecast version. I think she's a lighter shade of maroon here. Missing the back couple tires, though, unfortunately. Lots of purple accents on this one. And the taillights along the trim there. Very strange with the purple accents. You can see it kind of all over. But yeah, very cool. I wish she wasn't as beat up as she is, but I love resin prototypes. I've got quite a few in my collection at this point. I even have a Todd the Pizza Plant truck from 2009. So yeah, I really do like those. I'm happy to add a more newer one to the collection. All right. Yes, XRS again. This one we're going to just glance right over because it's basically Speedy Comet with a code on him, 148 there. He does have these red wheels, though, that I'm pretty sure would match TG Castle, not TZ. Honestly, that'd be a cool name. TG Castle, not the revolting racer that they did do in this line. Although, yeah, they're not pink enough to be the Reb Meeker that they canceled for this line. That would be cool, though, to say, yeah, this is Speedy Comet, and he literally took the canceled Reb Meeker's wheels. But yeah, no, that would be TG Castle. I didn't get this one in the past with the code on it, so I figured since I had an opportunity to do so now, pretty sure that completes like my first wave of them with codes. I think I have them all now. Although I do need to show you guys the buried DePedal here shortly. I don't think I've shown you guys that one yet. I'm not sure where it went off to. Somewhere on the table here. I'm sure we'll come across it. All right, moving right along here. Another one that's still in the package, and it is a Mater. This is the fan favorites version of Mater with the piston cup hat. Not my first prototype of this one, actually. I have a yellow one. So here now we have a blue one with white front tires. That's pretty cool. And then obviously in blue, unpainted here in the back. Pretty cool. Another pretty unique one. But yeah, a lot of prototypes of the Expand Universe stuff has definitely snuck out. You know, Fireball Beach, fan favorites, all the XRS stuff, drag racing, mud racing. Not too many rocket racers, though. That is interesting, something to note. Here's a weird one for sure that is very fragile. I could feel how fragile it is in my hand. And it's another resin prototype, this time of Jocko, Flocko, Mack. And it's also very interesting to note here that he's not in the metallic that he ended up getting released in. It's just a flat red color, not the metallic that he ended up, of course, being painted on or painted with. And yeah, you could see that like the plastic's kind of cracking up there on his hat. Wish he had eyes. It'd be a little cooler, I think, if he was fuller, or more complete rather. But yeah, this is still a super cool, very unique prototype. And man, yeah, this one feels super fragile, so I'm going to have to be very careful handling it. You can see that a bunch of stuff is already broken off of him. But yeah, very unique, very cool, and happy to have something that is notably different from the final version of my collection based on that color that we were talking about. Yeah, we're going to put him off to the side so he could just chill and relax. Oh, speak of the devil, we have another Mack. This one's definitely a little bit girthier, a little bit stronger as it's die cast. And it is a purple, yellow, green, red, gray Mack. Now this is pretty awesome. Looks like an older one for sure based on the China, made in China does not have a hole, so that means this was supposed to be just a deluxe release, not a Walmart exclusive like hauler trailer set or anything like that. And yeah, I haven't seen too many prototypes of a full hauler, so that would be into whole new territory. But yeah, I love the purple coloring on this guy. Again, I love going for the colorful prototypes. And this one certainly, guys, I'm choking in my own excitement. This one certainly accomplishes exactly what I look for in a prototype. So we're going to put him back there, though. All right. Oh, here's one of my favorites for sure, just because it's a prototype of one of my favorite cars in general. Maybe a little recency bias, though, because he was just released in 2023, but it is Shoesteer. I've always liked this car, though, dating back to 2016. Yeah, you could see all the denting that they put into the mold here. A lot easier when it's a flat gray color. But yeah, you have the orange wheels again that we love, the red base, a purple roof rack up here. Good stuff. There are a lot of prototypes of Shoesteer with just like a gray roof rack. Everything else completed, though. A lot of those leaked out. And you might still be able to find one. Someone might unknowingly sell it. They don't know it's a prototype. It's very possible that that could happen. But yeah, I like this one a lot. And yeah, I think that'll be in the top 5 for this haul. Perhaps. A lot of competition, though. Oh yeah, here we have another Vietnam prototype. This one might be my favorite of the bunch. It's a blacked out The King. This is sick. Yeah. So cool to see The King in full on black. Again, you can see made in Vietnam there. Good stuff. Black wheels. And of course, the blue wing just looks so awesome on the black. Like I said, the accents. It's almost like these were intentional, where everyone's just blacked out, but the main like colorful part to them is still in color that indicates like their main body color. You know what I mean? It just kind of indicates who they are through the color, because color is such an identifier in our world. Everyone uses color. Everyone subconsciously associates certain colors with certain things, and everyone associates blue, that shade of blue specifically, with the King. So I just think that's really cool. And the yellow for Cruz Ramirez as well. All right. Now this is definitely a top 5 prototype of the day, and that is Bud, the Super Chase here from 2016. Not many prototypes of RVs, not many prototypes of deluxes, period, even show up. And this one is just absolutely gorgeous. I love this guy. He's got so many different parts going on, and I'm very fortunate that the antenna up here are still intact. Would it be antennae? Antennas? I don't know. But yeah, you have the vents up here in plastic orange. You have the wheels in orange as well. A very beat up cab, but that's okay. He's a big boy. He handled it all. He took it like a champ and still held on to his antennas. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, I love this one so much. He's got transparent windows there. Bud holds a special place in my heart. It's one of the few Super Chases that I found in a store. I think I found them in 2017, though. It was like early 2017 at a Toys R Us, I think, is when I finally found him. Yeah, Super Chases were so weird in terms of their distribution. I remember feeling so confident I'd be able to find one because so many people were finding, like Sergeant Highgear, for example, and I just never did. All right, what do you know? It's another XRS prototype. It is Cruz Ramirez here with a 064 code in a pretty cool looking red with some purple plastic highlights. And again, we got that weird thing going where half of her wheels are blue and the other half are black, just like on the Barry DePedal. Some gray mud flaps. I think I have a McQueen that's like that too. Not the one in this video, the yellow one, but some in my collection from before that are very similar to that. So good stuff there. We're making our way through this. We're making our way to the good ones, that's for sure. Here we have the Mater with the lightning bolt, the 95 lightning bolt Mater from that big multi-pack. However, he does not have the actual bolt. It broke off, unfortunately. I have seen quite a few prototypes, though, of this with the full bolt, and so it doesn't bother me too much. Maybe one day I'll get the bolt. It does, yeah, it hurts a little bit for sure, but it is still cool to have this prototype of Mater with all the colors, the pink and the orangish colors here in the back. A very nice prototype overall, bare metal up front. Yeah, it irks me though a little bit. It does, it really does. There are a few of these, I think, in white as well that aren't in the full bare metal. Just to keep you guys aware. There was one on eBay a while back. I remember seeing it. So, again, they're out there. All right, another Vietnam prototype. I think this is the last one for the day. I will be getting another one in the future, but this is the Cars 3 Lightning McQueen. Just, yeah, straight up black. Unfortunately, McQueen doesn't have any plastic pieces on him, besides the base, of course, so we can't get a cute little red plastic piece that is indicative of his character, unlike with the King or Cruz. That kind of stinks, but he still looks pretty cool. And yeah, I think I'll be getting a Cars 1 McQueen like this soon as well. I think, man, there's some other ones in here that are running through my brain. I think I've seen like a Dinoco Cruz Ramirez in black and maybe a Jackson Storm. I don't think I got those though. Oh, look who it is. It's exactly what I was kind of talking about with the half and half in terms of the wheels, black and blue. But yeah, another XRS Lightning McQueen. I actually have one that's very similar to this, just in completely bare metal. There's no blue paint on it. But yeah, because there's the paint, you can see the 054 code right there. Absolutely love the lavender brackets on either side here. I think that's a nice touch for sure. But yeah, good stuff all around. But yeah, a lot of XRS prototypes for sure. Maybe a little too many. All right, another little baggie here to bust open. Another white prototype. Yeah, we've had quite a few of these today. And it's Artie. So it kind of goes along with the Dan Sclarkenberg. Both were 2016 releases. And they were in the same series, I believe. Actually, no, were they? Well, it goes with the Brian Fee clamp, actually. Yeah, this is, oh yeah, here we go. That's the money shot right there. That's what I'm really grasping for. And yeah, both are metal white and have similar colorings. This one's got an orange base, but obviously Brian has a lot of orange elements as well. So yeah, good stuff here. Nothing too crazy. Would be a lot cooler if her headset was a different color, or his headset. I always thought Artie was a female for the longest time. Maybe she is. Doesn't really matter. But it's just white. It's okay though. It's a slightly different shade. Oh my God. It's all right. So yeah, my first Artie prototype. Kind of a blast from the past with that one. All right. This one's a lot lighter than I thought it would be. It is a Precision Series Red, I think. I think that's what we're working with here. Yeah, because the ladder does move. But the other part of the ladder was broken off. Otherwise, you'd be able to extend it. But yeah, it does still have the hose up here intact. Another one that just has a bunch of awesome colors. The green here. Lime green on the side here, the gray, the peach, orange, red. Do have the rubber tires, really cool, but a lot plasticky, a lot more plastic than I thought. It would seem like it would be heavier, right? Because it's a red, it's a deluxe. It was a Precision Series release at that. But yeah, this is a pretty light car overall. I do have a red prototype, in fact, already, but it's cool to get a Precision Series version. Very nice. All right. Do we have any other ones here? I don't believe so. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes. This is what I was talking about. I knew I had this one. I was like, I could have sworn I got it. Yeah, it's the Dinoco Cruz Vietnam prototype. Yeah, and you can see with the yellow wing there in the back. Everything else is just completely blacked out. Yeah, these don't focus well on the camera. The camera's like looking into the void with these. All right. So what you've all come for, we're about to address, well, some of the better ones here. Two of the best ones. Three of the best ones, actually, we have left. 3 prototypes of canceled cars coming right up with a side of Cajun fries. Yeah, that's what you guys are getting today, if this guy will ever hop out of his bag. So, 2017 pre-Cars 3 era, funny face Mater, so close to being released. A lot of completed versions were leaked out. I have one myself. Probably will do a review on it at some point if I haven't already. It's not really ringing the bell right now. But here is a non-completed prototype of it. You could see by the big bulges in his cheeks when he's trying to make the funny face. Such a weird looking Mater. Maybe it's for the best they canceled him, but I think he would have been pretty popular. Yeah, blue, kind of like that other blue Mater that we were looking at before, but they were slightly different shades of blue. Yeah, I had to get this one. Canceled car, prototype. Those two together are irresistible, unstoppable, indisputable, irresistible. All of the most powerful adjectives you could think of with this cool kind of like charcoal black backside to him. Very interesting. He does have some writing on the base though. Lots of writing actually. Holy cow and a half. Boom, 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 boom. That was a lot. A lot going on. You got going on there, funny face Mater. All right, here's another canceled car of a prototype that I'm a little bit more excited about than Mater because it was a different character. However, he is beat to absolute hell. Arik Wheelie here, another pre-Cars 3 2017 release. This guy's pretty awesome. Yeah, clearly started off as just a pure white car and now got beat up, got pretty dirty over the years, and still looks pretty awesome though and carries a lot of value for sure. He's got the red sunglasses. That's such a vibe. And also, because the bottom portion of here, the bottom half, was plastic, that was always kind of the Jaguar style. They concealed it very well, you know, when they released like Jumpstart J Ward or Victor Pavillon or David Hobbscap. They're all like this, but they conceal it much better than in other cars. But yeah, you can see it's got the beige instead of the red that Arik would have been released with. But yeah, this one just feels raw in your hand. Made in China. Also got quite a bit of writing for a prototype. But yeah, really cool to go along with my completed Arik. Well, almost completed Arik. If you guys remember my Arik Wheelie that I have in my collection that I reviewed actually not too long ago. The sunglasses aren't painted. They are like transparent. It's very weird. They're completely transparent. They should be black though. And yeah, be kind of transparent lenses. That's what we want, not everything being transparent. All right, and the grand finale. Actually, who cares about this Studs McGirdle though, real quick? This maybe fake one with a coat on it. I can't jump to a conclusion yet about this one, but we'll show you. There are ones on eBay like this as I am recording this. All right, what you all came for is the first physical incarnation of Chuck Shocks. This is a Planes Fire and Rescue character from the Chops episode scene, you know, when they're all watching that show that Blaze and Blade Ranger used to be on. That little scene had so much potential for diecast between Nick Loop and Lopez, who got canceled. This guy, Chuck Shocks, the female pink car in there, who they named in the Meet the Planes book, and also Sergeant Rhodey, the police car, who I might even prefer to this guy, but this is Chuck Shocks, the criminal. You can see he's got the impound boot there. Now, they have released, well, back in the day, they released a stock image for this guy, but I will say that the impound boot was on the opposite side, so that's interesting, but this is most certainly him. You could always tell by the model, the engraving on the side there. It's definitely Chuck Shocks. And it's just so awesome. It would be kind of interesting to see what side in the movie the impound boot is on. Would not be surprised if, yeah, this version's just wrong. They put it on the wrong side. This is probably my new favorite prototype in my collection because before this, no one ever knew or had really thought that Mattel made it that far into the production of some of these Planes characters that they canceled. They canceled a lot of them all at the same time. In late 2016, early 2017, they canceled the whole line altogether. And unfortunately, a lot of them were the best ones. You know, a lot of the cars from the Planes line. And it would have been weird to have to pay like a deluxe price for what would have been just a regular size car in Chuck Shocks. Because they only had a deluxe line for Planes. And then the deluxe where like Nick Loop and Lopez would have been released. And the Blaze and Blade Ranger and all that. But yeah, this guy is absolutely insane. I am so lucky, so grateful that I was able to get this, because it would have been one of my favorite cars released for sure. It's just such a vibe, such a cool looking vehicle, old school muscle. And yeah, he's super colorful as well, super beat up, but gives him a lot more character. So there you guys go. I'll definitely do a separate video on him at some point as well, because like the Transberry Choose Chief, it is a pretty big revelation. Again, before now, no one thought that there was a physical version of this car. It only existed in that stock image that I put on the screen a little bit ago. So there you guys go. Thank you so much for watching this prototype haul. Let me know in the comments, are you in the prototypes, canceled cars? I feel like it's hard not to be. Canceled cars with anything. Well, canceled items for literally any hobby are very interesting. I mean, it's just like a deleted scene in a movie, because then you start thinking, well, why did they cancel it? And then you start really wanting it. You like really wanted that scene to have been in the movie. You really want it to happen maybe in the next movie, that moment. You really want that car to get released, that, you know, figure, whatever it may be, because you can't have it. And as humans, we crave what we can't have. It's so weird. Like, why do we do that? Because if it did get released, hey, maybe we wouldn't want it as much. Maybe we wouldn't place it as one of our favorites. But yeah, these are definitely my top 4 here, probably top 5 from this haul. Such a great haul for us today. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. It really means the world to me when you tune in for some of these longer form videos. I will see you guys soon for another video. Bye now. And of course, I forgot one. The XRS Barry DePedal engineering prototype. You can see he's got a code in the bottom left right there, something 42. But what makes this one truly special is that he ended up being quite a bit different color on the final version. A lot bluer, a lot less purple than the prototype here. You can see it's a lot lighter, softer, kind of indigo, but definitely more on the purple side than what ended up getting released. I probably would have preferred the purple version, simply because that's why I always think that they did do a Danny Swervez Mud Racer, because his color ended up being a lot more like on that spectrum. I know even with Danny Swervez, there's a purple and blue variant. Like, it's just crazy that they really struggle with some of these colors. And that's why so many of the next gens irk me, because they're all within this like blue, purple, kind of dark green color palette. And I'm just not a big fan. I'm looking at you, Spiky Phillips. All right, guys, for real now. Bye.
But when it all burned down and you were left with nothing, did you question God, or did you see it coming? Come on! Oh, come on!